I've had some requests for painting videos, so I'm going to show you how I do painting. I'm using an airbrush. I am going to do some brush painting on the castle. You'll see that in a little bit. But I'm going to basically use the airbrush today. I'm using Tamiya paints. I just got through stirring the white paint. I have a paint shaker, and I've quit using the paint shaker recently because I ran into some problems with Tamiya paints and the paint shaker. The paint shaker was not mixing them up well enough. It was leaving some clumps in the bottom of the jar, and with the white paint, that's a really bad idea. It doesn't come out well. And the white paint's the worst Tamiya paint I've found so far. Still like it better than some of the other brands, but it's the worst paint. Now, I've already stirred it, so this is what I use to stir it with. Bamboo skewer. Tamiya paints, I thin them with Tamiya thinner. You can use alcohol. I know a lot of people who do. This thinner's more expensive than alcohol because I can get 2 or 3 big bottles like this of alcohol for the price of this little bottle here. But I've had good results with the thinner. I'm going to keep using it. And you mix the paints about 50-50. So I'm going to take 2 full droppers of the thinner, and let's make that 3. And I'm going to get 3 full droppers of the white. Actually, I will probably get more than 3 droppers of the white. The white I tend not to thin quite so hard. Simply because it gives me a few problems. So I'm going to add just a teeny bit more, like a few drops more of the white. There we go. Now I'm going to pause the video for a minute. I'm going to go clean my dropper. So far I've been using the exact same dropper over and over and over again for a long time. I got this from Airbrush Supply Store, a big jar of them for like $2. So I got plenty of these. Back in a bit. Alright, got that cleaned up. I'm going to take my little stirrer and stir my paint mixture up. And yes, I'm using a paint jar instead of the paint cup. I'm not comfortable with the paint cups yet. Just haven't gotten there. I'm more comfortable using the jar. If I ever get a top feed airbrush, I'm going to learn how to deal with the paint cups. But until that time, no, I'm happy with what I have right now. Okay? And I'm going to continue to use it. So I'm cleaning up my little paint stirrer, setting it aside. I'm screwing the lid on my jar. I'm using a Pache airbrush. It's a double action VL1008. I didn't do any research before I bought airbrushes. Well, I did do a little research. I read up on how the guy painted the Enterprise for the first Star Trek motion picture. This is the exact airbrush he used, and he said he'd used many brands of airbrushes, and this is what he preferred. I've had zero trouble with this thing. Parts are readily available. It works well. I'm going to continue using it until someone convinces me I should do otherwise by showing me a better airbrush. Well, I'm going to turn on the spray booth. Oops, wrong switch. There's a fan motor. You can tell it's not very loud. The airbrush is on. Got air coming through it. Next thing I'm going to do is add my paint. Take a piece of paper towel and make sure I got paint coming through, and I do. Whoa! Drop the paintbrush. Okay, stop the video. Well, that was a nice little accident, wasn't it? Fortunately, I have one of those big rubber chair mats underneath the spray booth, so very little paint got on the carpet, just 2 drops, and since I hit it with some alcohol real quick, that got cleared up. I'm going to tilt the camera just a little bit more so we have a better view here. And there we go. Alright, so grab my parts. And I basically, okay, the way a dual airbrush works, the dual action airbrush works is when you first push it down, you're getting pure air. Then you pull it back to get paint. I do not apply a thick layer of paint. I usually go pretty lightly. You'll be able to see it better in a minute because right now I'm painting white on white and you can hardly see what I'm doing. Okay? So what I'm going to do is stop filming this, and I'll come back when I'm painting the castle roofs and the base of the castle, because those are going to be in gray and you'll be able to see that. Okay, I now need to clean my airbrush between coats, different colors of paint. So first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the paint bottle and spray out what little paint's left in there. Okay, and I've done that. Now, what I'm using for thinner this time around, for cleaner, is almost pure 91% alcohol, rubbing alcohol. What I use for between coats depends on the paint mixture I'm using. Okay? If I'm using Future, I use half alcohol, half ammonia. Alright? And I just run some of that through there. This isn't Future, so it's pure alcohol this time. I know some of you guys use Windex to clean your Future with. I don't, because the back of the bottle of Future says ammonia, so I use ammonia. Okay? Now, the airbrush is pretty cleaned out between the color coats. Right now, I need to clean out the paint jar. So I'll be back when I clean out the feed to the airbrush and get my next color coat ready. Alright, this time I'm using a light gray for the base, for the stonework on the base. Okay? I'm also going to use this light gray for the castle roofs that are gray. Half of them are gray, half of them are jade coppery green, more of a green patina color. So I'm going to start with the gray, and when I get to castle roofs I'm going to darken it a bit. You'll understand why I'm doing that in a little bit. I'll darken it with a teeny bit of flat black. Not much, just a little bit of flat black. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing again. Got my Tamiya thinner. I'm going to go with 3 things full. Now, I will admit this, some of you are like, that's probably way too much white paint. I'm going to be doing more white painting later. So I'm going to leave it in this bottle with a lid on it. And then I've got about 5 or 6 of these bottles. Every time I'm painting a model, I mix up a little too much paint, keep them in the bottles until I'm completely done with the model. Then I don't have to remix paint. Okay? So I'm going to take 3 things of thinner. I always do the thinner first, that way I don't get the thinner in my paint and my paint in my thinner. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to go with 4 this time. I think I might need more paint, because the base is bigger and I got castle roofs to deal with too. So I'm going with 4. That's part of experience. The more you do this, the more you're going to be able to judge how much paint you need with each project. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, I'll be back. I'm going to go clean this stuff up and get ready for brushing. Hey, got a glove on my hand because I'm going to be holding this thing, and I have a habit of painting my hands. That'll keep that from happening. I've got my airbrush, and what you do is you slowly build up color. I am not in a hurry to get this thing painted. So you can see the colors coming on there, and I'm going to turn it and I'm going to work my way around, and I'm not using much in the way of color. I'm also not getting the airbrush right up, down, and dirty on this thing. That is not my intent, and I will probably color this thing heavier in some areas than in others. Mainly because some of these areas are walkways, some of these are stonework. Okay? The stonework does not need to be completely grayed out. Mainly the corners do. The corners were a slightly different kind of stone than the rest of the thing was. So I'm going to be hitting the corners a little heavier than the rest of it with this gray. And you can probably see that I'm doing that in the video. Okay? You should be able to see that. Yeah, you should be able to see that. Okay? Also, the stonework they used for the base of this thing was pretty light in color. So I'm not, again, trying to paint the whole thing gray. That is not my intention at all. Just hit the corners a little harder. Okay? Because you'll see why I'm doing that in a little bit. because I got a madness idea. This whole model build has been slightly mad anyhow, if you ask me or ask anyone. Could have made it 3 different entries in the contest, but decided to go with one. And again, you'll notice I'm not getting it really wet in any one spot. I'm just trying to apply color. Okay? That is all I'm attempting to do, is apply color. Nothing more right now. So it's getting a little wet in some spots, like the walkways. I'm definitely wetting down the walkways pretty heavily. The stairs, yes. The rest of it, I'm just trying to give it a gray tone right now. I'm not trying to cover her up heavily. And again, all of you'll see why. In all of it, stone has a lot of variation to it color-wise. It's not just a uniform color. While the corner stone pieces tended to be pretty gray. So that's why I'm hitting the corners harder, because they were a different kind of rock. This is also, the wall on this thing was all hand-cut stone. I can't see any mortar lines when I look at the detailed photos of it. None whatsoever. So it looks like they built the wall. That is so not what I wanted to do. Let me get my fingerprints brushed out. Alright, let's put this thing up on its little hooks to dry. I've got hooks hanging in the back wall of my spray booth that allows me to dry things. Alright, blew the paint out of that so it's not dripping all over everything. Now I'm going to get some flat black here. I'm going to add a little bit of flat black to my paint mix. Okay. Just a teeny bit. I don't want to add a lot. I just want to darken my paint a little bit. Not dramatically. So I used my stir stick, and that probably picked up just enough of the flat black for what I wanted. And no, I want a little bit more than that. So let me get some more. Because as far as I can tell, I didn't darken a thing. That should have done it, because I got about 10 drops of flat black mixed in there. Yeah, that darkened it. Darkened it quite enough where I'm really happy with it. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. I'll go clean up some tools.